Hello and welcome to Amethyst Style Crafting. My name is Jane Allmark and I'm a UK independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. And we're looking at colour and contour today, and we're going to be doing something with this lovely flower here. It's a two-step stamp, so it's really easy to do. And we're going to use some of the dies from the coordinating bundle. But if you haven't got them, excuse me, reaching across, if you haven't got them, you can just do it on a normal mat and layer. So I'll show you the dies, the scalloped contour dies, which are really rather good because you've got 5 different rectangles, all with scallops on the outside, but with different things on the inside. So this one is a plain one. This one has got stitching on. This one has got slightly, so this is dotted stitching. This is like normal stitching. That's got a line through, and this one you can put, I showed you the other day, you can actually, it's got a slot cut so you can put ribbon through it. And this little one is great for sentiments. So I have cut out, or die cut, the largest one, which is going to be my, what I would have as my matte layer. And then I've cut out one of the little ones in the right in the center, and that's going to be what I'm going to put my sentiment on. There's also the dies to cut out the flower and the other flower in the stamp set. But today we're just using the stamp set to show that you don't have to have the die, it just adds a little bit of something. So I have cut my piece of Whisper White to fit exactly inside here with the tiniest little bit of border. Now I'll give you the measurement for that because that's going to be wherever you are, and it is 4 and 5/8 of an inch by 3 and 3 3/8 of an inch. So cut it that size, and then that's going to fit exactly inside on those scallops and give just about 1/8 of an inch border in on there, which I think works perfectly. So we're going to work with this piece, and we are going to be using, you can use black, but I wanted it to be slightly more subtle, so I'm going to use Smoky Slate as my colour. And then I've got a combination, I think, because I'm using the Blushing Bride as the background, I want to use Blushing Bride, but I might have some fresh freesia. I haven't decided. We're definitely going to use the Blushing Bride. So we need to start first of all by doing the outline of the flower. Now I've chosen a smaller block, so this is the C block, and I'm going to line my stamp up so that it comes, I don't want this leaf in there, so that it comes down like this, and you only have, you don't want this leaf in there, so that you only want the top part of it, because we don't want the whole thing to come on here. So I'm going to ink it with the pad onto the actual block, because what I don't want to do is to do it the other way and to get some of this inked up, because I don't want that at all. And then I'm going to take it in on this corner here and just stamp it down. So I'm going to do that exactly the same, so inking it up with the pad onto the block, because I find that allows it to be a little bit more accurate. And we're going to go into this corner here exactly the same, and I think the Smoky Slate just allows it to be just a little bit more subtle. So again, I'm inking it up And we're going to do, so we're doing the 4 corners first of all. And again, it doesn't matter if they're perfectly straight, or, you know, you can do them as you want. I'm just making sure that, as I say, I've inked up each one of the corners, and I'm just then putting this in. So you've got the 4 corners. Now we are going to take, and I'm still going to do it this way round because it makes more sense. So I'm now going to do this one in on here. And it might not come completely. I'm just going to take a little piece of scrap. Have I got a little piece of scrap? I was doing something with some other ideas. So I've got a little piece of scrap here because I want to take this to come in on here. So you need to just sort of line it up so it doesn't come over the top of the other one, and just sort of put it in. So it's fairly close, but as I say, it's not actually going over the top. And then we're going to do exactly the same to the other side. If you do one side over the other first, then you can see. So this one, we can fit it in just about there. And then we've got 2 little tiny pieces here. So this, I'm just inking up the top part, so it's just going to have a little bit of that bud just coming through. Turn it onto the other side, and it's just going to have that little bit of the bud coming through without it coming onto the other side. Okay, so now we've gone all the way round in the smoky slate. I'm just going to clean that off on the Simply Chamois, and then I've got the fill-in part, which is what they call the 2-step stamping. So you have your outside piece, and then rather than having to colour it all in, you can literally just put this on there. And as I say, I've got the Blushing Bride, but I do like the Fresh Freesia as well. And I'm just working out, do I have a contrast in colour, or do I keep it with the same colour? Or I could even do it brighter with some of the polished pink. I think I'm going to keep it with the Blushing Bride because I quite like the Blushing Bride. It's quite a soft, or it's a softer pink. And I'm just going to see how dark it's going to come out. Do I want to have it second generation? I think second generation on this might work better, so I'm going to ink it up this way because I have got, okay, so we're going to stamp it off once, and then we're going to put it in onto this one. And if you line up the little bud at the top, says me, I'm trying to do it at an angle underneath my camera. So I'm hoping I'm getting this relatively straight, says me. All right, let's try and see. You're seeing above, so you can probably see whether it is straight or not. I really can't, but okay, so that's second generation. Do I quite like it second generation? I think my ink's a little juicy, actually. I think I need to tone it down a little bit, but I think it'll be all right for this. So we're going to take it in through on the top piece again. So it's a little bit spattery, but as I say, my ink is, I've only just sort of refilled it recently, but I think it's coming out okay. So stamp off first and then put it in on here. Stamp off first, put it in on there, and I'm just literally going all the way round. Stamp off first, I'll put it in on there. Then we've got these 2 little tiny bits down at the bottom, so we're just going to take one in on that side and then stamp it off, and we'll have one in on the other side. Okay, and you can see how it's far more subtle when you do it with grey rather than black. And I will show you one that I was experimenting with earlier that I did with black, and I think it is just a little bit too sharp. Now I want to, so I've done it all in the Blushing Bride. I have also now picked up a Stamping Right marker. You can use a watercolour brush and the inks, but this is the quickest way to do it. And this one is light Granny Apple Green. Again, it's quite pastel-y. And what I'm doing on this is where there's leaves, I'm just brushing across on them. And again, not particularly carefully, because the actual stamp is very much a washed look. So you don't want your leaves to be too exact, because otherwise it won't match in with it. So you can see part of it is going out, but that's exactly what I want. I just want it to come quite rough, as if it was doing it, as if I had a two-step stamp to do the green part, if you see what I mean. So that is then going to go, let's just put this in. That's then going to go in onto the centre on here, which gives us the pretty background in that flower. And then we're going to take one of these pieces to go in the centre. And I'm just going to stamp that. Again, I'm going to use the smoky slate. And I think You're Absolutely Amazing, I think, is probably the one that will fit in there. So let's have a look at this. So You're Absolutely Amazing. Did I clean that off? Can't remember. Let me just give it a quick clean off just in case I didn't. That's cleaned off now. So I can just put that one on there, and we've got You're Absolutely Amazing. So I've only used the one block as well. So again, for all the new stampers, we've used 2 ink pads and a colour. So for the green, and I'm just going to bring this down a little bit, so I hope you can see it, only so I can line it up and get it straight. You're Absolutely Amazing. And then we can put that in on the centre. And I would put that up with just a few dimensionals. So let me just put that out of the way so it's not where we're looking at. So I would then put that, so we can stick this onto here, and then we can just pop that up with dimensionals, because I think that that looks really rather pretty. So I've got my wet glue, and if we put this in, you want to try and make sure that you get it so that it lines up onto where these edges are. So it is literally just 1/8 of an inch round on this border. And that's why the wet glue is quite good, because it means that you can slide it in and you'll get it exactly where you want it. And then, as I say, with these ones, I'm going to put them up with some dimensionals. And I always keep my dimensionals and everything in a pot, so I can, or a box, so that I know exactly where everything is. And I think I'm going to put minis on here. We've got standards and minis, as you know. So we'll have one down on there, one on the other side, and one, whoops, in the middle. And I can just pop this up because I quite like the pink tones together. I think that they look really rather nice, and doing it in the grey. So we want this to come just sort of straight in the centre like that, because that then gives just that little bit of height in on there, so you can see that. And then, as I say, you know, if you wanted to, you can add some ribbon to it. You can, you know, you can jazz it up as much as you want, but basically if you put that onto a white card base, which, let me see if I've got, I think I've got one up on here. Oh, and I was going to show you it in the black to see how it doesn't look as good in the back, in my opinion. So I've just got a card blank on here, which I would then put that up, and I might actually put that up with dimensionals as well. And because the UK size is slightly bigger, I would just trim my card down by probably 1/4 of an inch, so it just actually fits a little better, because in the UK our card bases, because we use A4, is slightly bigger. So, you know, I would sort of trim that up before I finally committed. Now, I'll just show you, I just started, I was playing around with a few ideas, I can't remember, oh yes, a few things. Now you can see in the black, it's too stark. It doesn't allow it. This looks just beautiful and subtle. That is just a bit too sharp and bright. So, as I say, doing it in smoky slate makes it really pretty. So I hope you enjoyed that. As always, please stay safe and well, and please be kind, and look forward to seeing you soon. Bye bye.